My friends. How is everybody doing on a fine Monday morning?
Good morning. Good morning, Ashes to Rubies. People,
Peeps.
Monday
Monday
hello.
morning. What?
It's always still weird to me that people are listening or watching. But
Well,
okay.
thank you for joining
It's an
us
honor.
it's an honor.
It is. It's an honor.
Mhm.
And I mean,
As we stumble through life. Thank you
it
for
keeps us
joining us.
grounded. So I feel, I tell myself all the time, well, you're doing it for yourself, Vicky.
You know what?
We need to do this reading. I need to stay grounded. I need to stay focused. I need to be
you know what
emotionally,
we're the
mentally,
model of?
spiritually.
Progress, not perfection.
Progress, not perfection.
So join us on this imperfect journey we call life and recovery. Good morning, Morgane.
Good morning,
nice
Jason.
to see you. Good morning, Jason. And so thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining us on this not so perfect journey we call life and recovery. And yeah, there we go. So do you want to get right into it? Do you have anything to report?
Let's get right into it.
Do you have anything to report?
I don't.
No reports.
I'm not a reporter.
No reporters. No reporting. We had a good weekend. It was nice. It's a beautiful sunny day today.
It's a beautiful day today. Oh. I will get out for a walk today.
That's your promise or a threat?
Oh, that is what needs to happen.
All right.
I think it's like interesting as I go further into realizing like how I wake up. Like I wake up complaining in my head. I wake up complaining and like not excited for another day. And so this morning it was like this morning I was just like, give me Jesus. Like, and then I've Googled whatever it's called in my room, and so I can just ask for a song. And so I can just ask it to play a song. And so I'm like, I need an uplifting song.
And then Google plays you some like accordion really music, and you're like, stop it, Google.
It was the Break Every Chain song that came on. So perfect. I just said it out loud. Okay, Google, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus on Spotify. That's what I said. And then a Break Every Chain song came on, and it was really good. I really liked it. And then I have to like remind myself, like, no, it's not going to be horrible. Mm-hmm. Like, why do I wake up like that every single morning? Like, it's going to be hard. This is going to be an awful day. Like, it's terrible.
But that's the you wake up with this self.
I would just rather sleep. Really. I don't want to be woken up. And, it's so selfish.
But I think there's a transition, and there's a trade-off at some point, like, and we all experience it. And so that comparison thing that we do is like this thief of joy and of life. And so what your problem is no different than mine, because you wake up like that going like, all I need is Jesus. And I wake up tapping my toes and go, I don't really need Jesus today. I don't really need anybody today. Woo.
So I can really compare it to like that same awfulizing of like, well, life was so much more fun when I could drink, or life was so much more fun when I could do this. And I think that happens right now, like with the pandemic of, well, this pandemic is so awful and so horrible. And life was so much better when I could just go where I wanted, when I wanted. And I didn't have to put on a mask to, and that's not even really true for me.
No.
We've really been able to dig in deep and embrace the rhythm of life in this last year. And it's actually brought a lot of peace and joy and growth. My prayer life is better. My everything. Like I feel like
your makeup skills are not better.
No.
I feel who wears makeup anymore?
I don't wear makeup. No. My laundry skills aren't even better. But I feel like digging in and kind of like, and I heard someone else say on a podcast, like, this pandemic has been the honeymoon that we never had. And they've been married like 45 years or something cool. like that. And I thought, yeah, this, it can be, but I really have to embrace like what it's bringing. And so I would have told you before, like that's a choice, that's a mindset, but I'm not capable of making that choice. I'm not capable of like changing my mindset. I need God to do that. Like,
because otherwise you're just implementing
I can't
behaviors
do
and
it by
self-help.
myself. I need the power of God to change that in me.
See, the gift that you wake up with is that realization of like, so how far could you do that every day and not do anything about it? But then it's no different than me. How far can I wake up like, yay, I don't
you've got
really
this.
need
You
any
can-
supports. I got this. I'm
You could
good.
run the whole world. You could run this city.
And that's our whole problem. I could run
Way
this
better.
city. So how far away, how many days in a row can we do that? Because what our real problem is we get disconnected from God, who is
Right.
power, who is our manager, who is our employer, who is our director, all of those things.
And
How
then
far away do I take back all of those responsibilities?
Like, how long do you think it takes for your ego to rebuild?
Rebuild, not long. Like mine might take
an hour.
It depends on the scenario. But like, it's a gift to wake up like that.
Yeah.
It can be.
Well, and it's true because
everything
my
can be a
sponsor
gift.
says, my sponsor wakes up the same way. My sponsor said, and she's the first person that I ever heard, like I've heard people say like, I'm not a morning person, but she's the first person that described what I experience of like, I just wake up and I think, oh, it's going to be so hard today. Like today is just going to be hard. That's what she says. It's going to be hard. I should just stay in bed. And then she knows like, no, I need to get up. And so before she has her coffee, before she does anything, she sets a timer, she lights a candle, and she sits in her chair for 10 minutes. And she just talks to God. God,
no coffee.
No coffee. God, today is going to be hard. And I'm going to need you. And so God, you need to be with me today. Mm-hmm. And then she just sits and that's her meditation time for 10 minutes with a timer. And then, okay, go get my coffee. And then she does, more study, more whatever.
It's funny because I need to do the same thing, but coming out of the different end of it.
You're like, I love to get up and work out and then spend this time and do some reading and listen to
look at our title.
Don't talk like you're always talking about how you put on a teaching, like as you work out at 6 a.m. or whatever time that is. I'm like, I wouldn't hear a word they were saying. All I would hear is some person yelling at me, which then I would really want to crawl back in bed.
See, we're different, but they can both be a gift and they can both be a curse. So how do we choose to operate them?
Right. Because you have to speak slowly and quietly. Until after I've had my coffee.
Make some funny jokes. No, don't make. All right. So this one is beautiful because it's called Free at Last.
Oh my goodness. You just hit me again.
I know. I'm trying not to do that. I get excited.
I know you get excited and then you hit me and you didn't know it until you saw the videos.
I know. I look at some of the videos. I'm like, do I hit you all the time? Like, this is horrible. Do I do that to people? Like, do I push people a lot?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
in fun,
I don't think I do.
You're a physical guy.
No, I don't think we should be pushing people. Like, even if we're excited. Oh my goodness.
All right. Even if we're excited. You like to.
I don't push people if I'm not excited.
And you belly
I do like hip checking you in the kitchen. I think I like to juke you too, like in the kitchen.
I always got to be on my toes when I'm cooking.
Well, I juke you. You're just standing there. I have pots and pans, and I'm like I juke you.
What's happening? Why are you body checking me?
And then I do like a spin move around you.
I have a knife in my hand.
Nope, football.
Just kidding. It's just a cutting board.
All right. Yeah, he stabbed me yesterday with
Yesterday, you reacted like I stabbed you with a knife in the back, but it was just a cutting board.
But what do you cut a board? What you put a knife on a cutting board? So the two are very close together.
Let's do it.
And yesterday, I made the omelet and I put it in the oven broil, and then I took it out, and then I grabbed the handle like 2 minutes later. Oh my goodness!
I do that a lot in life.
I do that. And then because we have a thing in Alcoholics Anonymous is we recoil from a hot stove. That's freedom. That's what being free is that I don't stick my hand on the stove.
I know what doesn't bring me life and joy and peace. And yet I just grab that handle all the time.
And go, oh, it's burning me? Is it burning me? Is this so cold or so hot? I can't tell the difference.
Oh, but I don't have any fingerprints left.
Oh. All right, free at last. Here we go. Another great dividend, so another great payoff, another great dividend of our
recovery.
We may expect from confiding our defects to another human being is humility, a word often misunderstood. It amounts to clear recognition of what and who we really are, followed by a sincere attempt to become what we could be. And that's out of the 12 and 12 of Alcoholics Anonymous. I knew deep inside that if I were to ever be joyous, happy, and free, I had to share my past life with some other individual. The joy and relief I experienced after doing so were beyond description. Almost immediately after taking the fifth, I felt free from the bondage of self and the bondage of alcohol. That freedom remains after 36 years, a day at a time. I found that God could do for me what I could not do for myself. Amen. That is a promise that we can be happy, joyous, and free.
Do you remember that moment that you felt free from the bondage of self and of alcohol?
Yes. So I remember the freedom of the bondage of alcohol because the mental obsession to go back to it was removed. And I still remember that day very clearly. I had an experience that God actually came to me so that I could actually um, give myself to him. And so that was an experience, but he took the mental obsession. So that recoiling from the stovetop was on that I don't even ever want to touch the stovetop. And that's the craziness about addiction.
And so when did you know that mental obsession, like, was there scenarios that you found yourself in that you were like, oh, wow.
Yeah, because a mental obsession is something that you think about, even though you're not thinking about it. It's your mind is like the alcoholic mind is overthinking everything for the thought that I need a break from. I need a break from thinking. I need a break from this life. I'm comparing my life to everybody else's and like this sobriety is so hard and I just need a break from it. And that's where I go back to alcohol. Mm-hmm. And so I go back to just putting my hand on the stove going like, it wasn't that in the first place. I just want to see if it's still on. I know it's glowing red. I just need a break from my hand feeling so nice. And so that is actually the mental obsession part of it. So having that removed and the promise isn't everything on the outside is going to change. You're going to get a car, a job, a wife, a kid, all these things. Mm-hmm. That's not what's going to have me happy, joyous, and free. The happy, joyous, and free part happens on the inside. Mm. And so I get to like a corner store. I have all this crap on the shelves of my corner store and there's only so much room. And when I do a fifth step, that's actually speaking out what all this stuff is with a sponsor and to God. God actually takes that, the confessional part, God actually takes that away. And then I have these empty shelves. So there's a time of despair of like, I have nothing. And then God's going to put his spirit in there. He's going to replace all of that stuff. So peace, love, joy, self-control, perseverance, endurance, all of those things that his spirit is. And that's where I get my joy from. That's why I'm happy.
So then how come I've heard other people say that they like the craving, the obsession was removed, but then they relapse at some point, maybe 6 months, maybe 20 years. Like we hear that all the time. Mm-hmm. So how come?
Because as we go into more of the process, we realize that we have to stay and improve our conscious contact with God. Mm-hmm. So that would be somebody like me, how I wake up going, I'm happy, joyous, and free. Yeah. And then I can be independent and walk away and going like, I have this life. I got this. I have this experience. I'm good. And now I'm just doing the work of God. Mm. And I can actually leave God out of it. And after 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, I'm doing all of this stuff, but I'm empty inside. I'm not even connected to the power that gave me relief over alcohol and the mental obsession. That's only God can do that. But I can become manager again.
I once heard you describe that experience of being like delivered from the obsession of alcohol as a jail cell that swung wide open and you could walk out, but that jail cell is still there. Mm-hmm, and like you can walk back into it at any time. And I thought that was such a good picture because for me, it's not alcohol, but for me, it's like other stuff. And so those things of those places of ease and comfort or wherever like I get my identity or my self-worth or my comfort from, whether it's other people or online shopping or whatever it is, I might be able to, that might be removed, the obsession, but then as I go further down the road, like you said, if I get busy, if I get whatever, especially if I get hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and I'm not staying close to God, and I'm not, my spiritual condition isn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the familiar places that I'm going to walk back into that jail cell.
I think what we've been learning is I need a reason. I need to put reasoning into my mind so that I am aware of why I'm doing what I'm doing, because you can get into these, spiritual practices of reading your Bible and fasting and praying and all these things, but why am I doing it? And so I have to be reminded on a daily basis that my reprieve from being powerless is contingent on connecting to God on a daily basis. So I have to do that every day. And it doesn't say once you made contact, go about your life. It's saying once you make contact, every day improve that contact. And so being with God, we didn't connect one day. When I read my book, I say, it says, having just made contact with God. And I put remember making conscious contact with Vicky, and we were just talking about that today. And I would I was over the top, and I would walk my dog by your house, and you suggested that you like purple pop, and I would buy you purple pop, and I'm like, do you really like purple pop? And you're like, I don't really remember liking it that much, but and I remember making this conscious contact with you, and it wasn't this we just made conscious contact, high five. It was like building the relationship. And that's where our life grew out of. So it's the same thing with God. I have to make conscious contact and improve that contact on a daily basis by prayer, meditation, and sitting and inviting God into my day. All right. Happy, joyous, and free. Get yours today. Wash your hands, keep the peace, and be of good behavior. And we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate that you want to be intentional about our relationship, and that you push us to be better and to do better, and you push us to I really appreciate it, because me in and of myself, I would just quit everything because it's hard. It's hard to do this. And so thank you for that.
Thank you for stumbling through life
I could have
with
waited
me
until we stopped to do that. But
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.